What's good, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of Comment and Kick It. It's your host, Bando. And since we have a huge main event this weekend, the Bantamweight Championship is on the line. Merab has to defend the belt against Sean O'Malley in the rematch. So you already know I had to come through with the high stakes fighter breakdown. And this episode is all about the current Bantamweight champion, Merab Dvalishvili. So let's get right into it. Let's smoke. So, Merab, obviously the current Bantamweight champion of the world, is 19-4. He is on a 12-fight win streak in the UFC, and honestly has been looking extremely dominant. He has been in charge of every fight, taking control, and just dominating all the way to his path to getting the title. And then his first title defense was extremely impressive against Umar Nurmagomedov. And you know, you look at that and you're like, okay, this dude has potential to be and go down as one of the best bantamweights in the world if he continues on this streak, if he continues on this run. 12 fights. To be on a 12-fight win streak in a division in the UFC like the bantamweight division is very, very high thing to claim. I mean, that is just that's a huge title to have. That's a huge accolade. Everything, whatever you want to call it, he is sitting with some good glory with that one. Merab has been nothing less than impressive. He has been extremely impressive. He has shown that with his wrestling. He's shown that with his durability. He's shown that with his cardio, right? He's shown that with his ability to make adjustments when needed. He's shown that he has a champion mindset before he even became champion. And now that he is champion, he's shown what he can do to remain champ. Now, he's going into his second title defense in a rematch, right? I think this is the first rematch Merab has ever had. So going into this, it's different. I don't know how his confidence is going into this. I don't know what he's thinking, you know, how he's feeling going into this. Does he feel like he's going to run through Sean O'Malley because he already knows he can beat him? You never know, right? This is his first rematch, like I said. So it's very interesting for him. Very interesting to see how he is going to react, how he's going to come in, if he's going to have to make adjustments, what type of adjustments is he going to make, and just got to completely see what he's going to be all about in this one. I do feel that Merab is the type of guy who's smart enough to go in there, make every proper adjustment, and continue to stay on the path towards victory in a decision. More than likely getting a decision win, but it's gonna be a different one Saturday night. But we should just jump right into it and let's analyze the champion and let's talk about it. Let's really look at what he is really good at, right? Obviously, like I said, cardio, his pace, his pressure, his durability, his wrestling. When you go into breaking down a guy like Merab, you immediately go to wrestling, right? You immediately think of the wrestling, you go to the wrestling, and you're not actually seeing this suffocating, ridiculously dominant wrestler like the likes of Khabib or Islam. It's not the same style. That's not how he wrestles, right? He wrestles to get you down. He kind of just toys with you. He really doesn't do much when it comes to going for a finish or going to for that suffocating position to make you feel like, damn, I'm never going to get up. And one of the thoughts I think of, like anytime somebody talks about dominant wrestling, I go back to Khabib versus Michael Johnson, where it was literally he was putting Michael Johnson in very uncomfortable positions. He was keeping him just frozen, not being able to do anything, locking him up, locking his legs up, locking his arms up, and just landing shots while talking shit to him. It'd be the worst way, in my opinion, to lose a fight, is to get mauled for 25 minutes. You know, you saw Khabib versus Conor. He was all over him. Merab doesn't have a style like that, but Merab's wrestling is one of, okay, I can shoot 25 times, right? In the 25 times, I'm going to find success. I might not find success until the 15th. It's very possible he might not find success until the 15th shot or something like that. But once he finds success and he knows how to do it, he knows how to get you down, he knows what he has to do, how he can set it up, all the your different weaknesses, your tells and everything like that. When he does maybe grab a leg or shoot for the shot, how you react, he knows how to adjust against that. So yeah, he might shoot 25 times. He might miss the first 15 and then all of a sudden start controlling with every shot. And guess what? He might shoot 5 to 8 times in the first round, right? If he feels as if he knows that he can get it, or he wants to see how you're going to react to it, he might shoot early. Now, in my opinion, you look back at Merab, and in some fights he has had a iffy first round. He's been tagged in a lot of first rounds. He's been caught with very interesting shots. A lot of the times when you see him get wobbled, he's gotten wobbled by the same shot, some sort of combination ending in a left hook, and could be his weakness, and Sean could exploit that. But we saw the first fight. Sean really didn't full on exploit any of the striking weakness of Merab. He caught him with some decent shots, maybe because Sean's injury and he didn't get to train 100% and he wasn't totally focused on being able to defend against the wrestling and everything. Maybe it played a factor. Maybe it did play a factor. I don't know. We won't know until we see this next fight. That, in my opinion, when Sean comes out talking about his injuries and everything like that, I don't look at it as excuses, because a lot of times these guys are not, like, they're never going to go into the fight 100%. I don't think Merab's going into this fight 100%. There's been a whole bunch of rumors of different injuries for Merab. So I don't even know if he's going into this fight 100%. But when Sean talks about that, this fight is going to determine whether he was right or wrong about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that truly played a factor in the first fight, we're going to find out on Saturday, the second they touch off, because Sean's movement seemed fine early on. Maybe not the same Sean O'Malley through late, but I also feel like the wrestling completely stumps the movement that somebody like Sean O'Malley is able to have, because now he's got to focus on defending the takedown. And with a guy like Merab is so bouncy that you don't know when the takedown is coming. So it's tough. It's tricky to be able to gain your best position striking, right, when you're focusing on defending. So we'll find out Saturday what Sean's all about. Not what Sean's all about, but if that first fight, if the injury really does play a factor. And I do think it did play a factor in not necessarily fully playing a factor in terms of how the fight went, but maybe how the training camp could have been leading into the fight. Sean seems like he's really locked in right now for this training camp, so I'm super interested on how this is going to go. But Merab is never anybody to sleep on. Merab has shown that he's dominant. He's shown that he's dangerous. He shows that he knows how to win a fight and make the adjustments when needed. And like I said, the cardio, the durability, it's tough to beat a guy like Merab. So this leads me into all the keys to victory for Merab in this fight. First key, we already know, it's wrestle. Obviously, put the wrestling in play, right? Confuse Sean a little bit, mix it up, but obviously wrestling is a huge key to victory for Merab, because like I said, once he does find the success, he knows he can get you down. If he's smart, he will go for a finish, but not a giant well-known finisher or anything like that. Next key to victory, that bouncy movement that he has in his stand-up, where he's just constantly bouncing. He'll throw a kick to the body, a hook. He'll throw a kick again, and then he's just bouncing, and you can't tell when that takedown is coming because of the way he's bouncing and his movement back and forth. He's in and out, and he's pretty quick with it too. And like I said, he's got good pace. He's got good cardio, so it's tough to, tough to gauge it, and you're not going to tire the guy out. He's not going to get tired from it, and he's going to do that for all 5. There's going to be moments where he's going to flatten out, and those are when Sean should really start to let his hands go, is when Merab flattens out. Because as soon as he flattens out, he's either flattened out because he's trying to find something, or he might shoot. And at that point, if Sean could disrupt the rhythm a little bit, it's going to be a different story. But I think that is a huge key to victory for Merab, is to have that movement, continue to bounce. Because when you're bouncing like that, in and out, and the takedown is a threat consistently with your style, it makes a fighter like Sean, who's going to move side to side. He's got a lot of lateral movement. He's going to be throwing leg kicks. He's going to be throwing jabs, moving to the side, little in and out. It's going to stall out. It's going to slow out his movement a little bit. And that is something that Sean has a lot of success with. So if Merab could stall that out a little bit, slow him down on the movement, then you'll find more success, I'm sure, in a takedown, because you're going to leave him stuck right in front of you. Hopefully Sean doesn't do that. Most of the time, strikers know what not to do. But it's hard to do the right thing when the wrestling is successful on the wrestler's end. So it's one of those things where it's just very difficult if you're a striker and you're up against a very dominant wrestler who just knows how to mix the game in, and he can keep you guessing and keep you trying to read it, and you can't figure it out because that bouncing in and out, in and out. So Merab's got to stick with that consistent movement on the feet when he stand up, when they're standing up. And then another key to victory, in my opinion, is try to utilize the cardio as much as you can. Now, I feel like one of the negatives of Merab in general is that Merab isn't a finisher, but when you have the cardio like Merab has, you don't have to be a finisher, because you're able to secure the 5-round decision, 3-round decision, whatever fight the fight's going to end up being, right? If it's a championship fight or not a championship fight, he's going to secure the decision because he's able to control. Can he get a finish? Yes. I've seen a lot of times where multiple wrestlers, I've seen it with Merab, I've seen it with Colby. You see it with a lot of guys that like to toy with the people that they're wrestling against, right? They're trying to play around with them. They're trying to basically joke on them. Just clown them in there. Make them look stupid. Like, I could take you down, push you down to the ground, hold you down for 2 seconds. I can get back up, take you right back down if I want to. And they could just keep messing with them. And that is Merab's style. So Merab can use that all throughout 5 and end up getting the decision, because he's not going to gas out. He's not going to get tired. So utilize the longevity. Utilize the cardio, push the pace, right? Usually I say pressure is like almost the key to victory for every single wrestler. And I feel like all the last championship fights that I've tried to break down had some sort of wrestler in it. So pressure is usually a key to victory for a lot of these wrestlers. But Merab has a natural pressure just in the way he moves and stuff like that. So I don't think he needs to just be consistently pushing, because I think that could end up being a negative, because if you just keep pushing, and you're not finding a shot, or you're shooting and missing, Sean's a sharpshooter, right? He will find a shot. He will find your chin. And Merab's got to stay perfect. Sean just got to land a one. You know what I mean? So got to make sure that if you're going to be pressuring, it's not the typical just run at somebody pressure, trying to get in their face. You got to pressure differently, right? You got to pressure differently, and that's just with the natural way that he fights. You see that you hurt him. You see that you're working him. You see that he's off on his back foot. You continue to move forward. Don't try to force the pressure, because I think that's where you can end up getting clipped. So that leads to the negatives, the 3 negatives, right? Potentially could be pressure, and I explained why that could be a problem. So pressure is potentially one of them. There is rumors of injuries going into this fight. I saw that there was rumor of staph infection, but I don't know if what I was reading was somebody bringing up something from the last fight, because there was also rumor last time they fought that he had staph infection. So who knows? But a lot of talks of different things going on in the Merab camp right now. You know, like I said, man, these guys never come into these fights 100% regardless. And that is because they are beating themselves up for weeks on top of weeks in training camp, then cutting a whole bunch of weight, right? It's hard to come into the fight 100%. So the injuries could be a potential negative. And then I think a negative is his lack of finishing ability. I shouldn't say ability. The lack of the fact that he doesn't go for the finish. And I think in this fight, he should go for the finish. Even though longevity is going to benefit him, if he's doing the right things, if he's successfully getting the takedowns and controlling with the takedown and not allowing Sean to do what Sean is good at, he's tiring Sean out so Sean can't do anything with the striking. He can't get off his good shots. Different story. But the longer you're in there and trying to just play the game, right? Because Merab likes to play the game a little bit. You saw against Umar. He likes to play the game a little bit. The longer you stay in there to play the game, right, and you're just trying to have fun with it, you might end up getting clipped by Sean. Like I said, Merab's got to stay perfect. Sean's got to land a 1. You don't want to mess around. If you're going to be in there if you're gonna stretch this fight, if you're gonna try to stretch this fight 5, you have to do it on your terms and not fall into Sean's game in any which way. And sometimes guys will do it. The ego starts to hit, and your ego's getting tested in there. You're like, no, I want to show. I can show you I can strike with this guy, so I'm gonna stay in here and strike with this guy, and it could backfire. So he just has to be smart. He just has to be smart. Pressure, control, good. Then continue to work. Maybe you could work to get the decision. But I think if he gets him down, right, if he starts to get Sean down and he figures out how to get Sean down, how to control him, how to hold him down, don't waste no time. Go for the finish. It looks even better on the title defense as well. You don't want to end up being compared to Belal type of thing, right? I do think Belal put on a much more exciting fight his last fight, so I'm not trying to knock him too much, but known for decisions. You don't want to be that champion that's just known to get decision wins. People want to see finishes. You want to get the casual fan who's not fully hip to you to get hip because they randomly decided, you know what? I know who Sean O'Malley is. I'm not that hip to Merab. I'm gonna tune into this. Oh my gosh, Merab just finished Sean O'Malley in the first round, took him down and subbed him, or took him down and beat him with ground and pound. There's a shock factor there. It's much bigger, it's much better, and Merab has to go for the finish in this fight. Otherwise, the fact that he doesn't always get the finish, if he plays around too much in there, could be a negative. But it's a double-edged sword, and I'm almost contradicting myself with the fact that longevity is going to be a positive and it could be a negative. It just depends on how he is in there. You see, he likes to have fun. He likes to play the game, but you got to make sure that you are in full control. And he was in full control at the time when he was playing the game and having fun against Umar. He's just got to make sure he's like that with Sean, because Sean could clip you at any time. That's it for this breakdown. I appreciate you guys for watching. You know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell notification button so you know when the next episode is out. And I'll catch you on the next episode. Your boy Bando is out. Peace.